Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Chloe. It's nice to meet you. And today I'm going to be doing the long anticipated brow tutorial or brow routine, brow care video. And I've gotten a lot of comments about this. I get a lot of comments about my eyebrows. So thanks for the eyebrow love. I really appreciate it. I do get my eyebrows threaded, but I also keep them up in the meantime. So I only get them threaded maybe like once every 2 months. So in the meantime, like they grow out, I need to do something. So I've been doing this for a while now. I have watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've watched a lot of Kelly Baker. If you don't know who she is, she does like everyone who has nice eyebrows. So I was looking on YouTube trying to see what other people have done, and I just wasn't really impressed with, like, no offense or anything, but like I didn't see anything that was really insightful at all or helpful when I looked up to like brow care videos. And I'm hoping in this video I can, oh my gosh, oh, I'm sorry, I just kicked the tripod. I'm hoping that in this video I can give you guys some actual helpful tips that you probably haven't heard before. So if you guys want to see how I went from really messy brows to these nice, clean, groomed brows, then just keep on watching. So I want to talk to you guys about the products that I used in this video, or that I will be using. First is a spoolie. Any spoolie works. I think this is from the ABH Dip Brow Pomade. This is like what comes with it, maybe. But honestly, any spoolie. This is like a gross one. These Tweezerman scissors. These are amazing. They are the expert tools for expert results. No, that's not what they're called. They come in this box. You can get them at Ulta or Sephora. They're amazing. And then Tweezerman tweezers, and mine come, I have two. I have these pointy ones that are literally completely pointy. They don't have any like flat part, and these are my absolute favorite. I think these are a must for doing eyebrows, but then it came in a pack of 2. So I also have the regular ones that have like the straight edge, the flat edge, and I keep them in my little case. And I always keep the little protector over the pointy ones, because having sharp tweezers is like #1 rule. For the makeup that I'm going to be using, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and I use the shade Dark Brown. And I went between medium brown and dark brown, but I feel like dark brown really just matches my eyebrow color the best. If you're going between the two, I guess the medium brown is a little bit less harsh, but test it out in the sun and see if you can see where you're filling it in, because that's a big no-no. And then I'm going to use the Clear Brow Gel by Anastasia Beverly Hills. And as for brow gel, I have very thick, coarse brows, and I don't want to add any more texture to them or any more like volume, I guess. So this one makes them look really clean, I think. It really gels them down. It lasts all day. Okay, so I was really worried about doing this video and like having makeup on, because I didn't want you guys to like judge my makeup, because I knew this was going to be this up close. So I was really worried about like if I put eyeshadow on, if it would be blended all the way, or like if there's mascara somewhere that mascara is not supposed to be. Oh, and by the way, if you can't tell, you probably can, I don't have my eyelash extensions anymore, so this is just my natural lashes with mascara on. So as you guys can tell, my eyebrows look very overgrown and disgusting right now, but we're gonna fix that. So I do this maybe once a month when I'm really on top of it. And I really take time to do this. This is not something that you want to do while you're in a rush, because you really don't want to screw this up. So I have this little eyebrow. It's like a double-ended. I just use the spoolie part of it, and excuse me because it is really disgusting. It's really old. So I just brush my eyebrows up, and throughout this entire video I'm going to be doing this. I think this is just the best way to do eyebrows. And I've kind of I follow Kelly Baker Brows on Instagram, and I watch a lot of her brow videos. I'm not saying at all that like I know how to do brows like Kelly Baker. The woman is a legend, and if you don't know who she is, she does a lot of celebrities. She does Zendaya, Jordan Woods, like all the Kardashians, Shay Mitchell, basically everyone with nice eyebrows. She does their eyebrows. So the front pieces I do straight up right here, like to here, straight up, and then past it I go kind of at an angle like this. You see what I mean? Around here I have I have a lot of stray hairs, and these are just obvious stray hairs. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pluck, and like I basically have a unibrow right now. So I'm gonna pluck all the obvious stray hairs, and one tip that I have is to pluck in the direction of the hair. So like if your hair is growing that way as my hair does, I'm gonna pull out. And one way to make this a little bit less painful is to grab from the root, and don't pull forward, like away from your face. Pull literally like against the skin, parallel to the skin. So for example, there, that didn't even hurt. I'm just gonna go in and pluck all of these obvious hairs, and then I'll get back to you guys. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I wore mascara for this video. Oh, I didn't think this through. Okay, let's try this again. Let me move this ring light a little closer. And I have hairs all the way like up here, so I try to get those as well if I can see that clearly need to be plucked. Tip, if you have like little eyelashes everywhere, or I mean eyebrows everywhere, just run your little spoolie on it and it'll catch them all. Okay, now I feel pretty good about just removing the ones that are clearly needed to be removed, like ones in my unibrow, ones in this section right here, and under here. If you already have shaped brows, you know which ones like aren't supposed to be there. If they're already all the way down here, you know that's not, you don't want those there. So just by going in and removing the obvious ones, it already looks a lot less like chaotic, I guess. And now we can move on to our next step. I'm gonna take my spoolie again, and I'm gonna rebrush upwards. And now we're actually gonna go into, I would say, the most important part. This part does take a little bit of practice though, so I recommend starting by like, I don't know, watching a lot of videos, practicing on yourself, but start by doing less, because if you mess this up, like, this can go really wrong. So I'm just warning you. So I always start at the front. As I was saying, I go up and maybe a tiny bit out. I take my scissors and I'm going to, do you see how they're pressed flush against my skin? So that's kind of what I'm using as my, I guess like my, what's it called? Like to balance so that it doesn't move around. So I'm gonna go along my skin and pick up all those hairs in front. And if you can tell, I'm not going straight across like this. I'm angling it down a tiny bit. And then I'm just gonna snip. Let me show you. And then I pick up these hairs from here, brush. And you see how long those are now that you've like, here. Smooth. Sorry, I'm trying to talk while doing this and I literally can't. So as you can see, it looks a lot neater now that I have just like a smooth line going a little bit downwards, and it even gives my eyebrow a little bit more of like an arch. I'm gonna take away all those little highlights. And now I'm gonna brush up in the middle section of my eyebrow. Always brushing up. And take my scissors again. And this section is a little bit harder to gauge, just because if you cut too much, you might create gaps in your eyebrows. So I would be extremely conservative when cutting in this section, but I know how my eyebrows are, and these top ones right here can be trimmed down without causing any gaps in my eyebrows. So I think that looks pretty good, this section right here. And we'll go back if we need to. But then for the tail end of them, I go more out than up for this section. As you can see, these hairs are growing in this direction here. Oops. So up and more out here. And all of them are growing outwards. Scissors, again, I'm gonna line them up with my skin. And I'm gonna snip, and this section usually has less for me, just because I don't mind if this has a little extra length on it. So basically the shape is gonna be created by cutting. Then we're gonna pluck to make it perfect. So now that I'm done trimming, as you can see, it just looks a lot neater, especially this front section here, and just kind of all over. So now, this is a very important step, I think. I'm gonna take my spoolie and I'm gonna move these brows downwards, and see these little tiny, like, kind of stubbly pieces all throughout here. There's some hair right here, all above this, that I want to remove. Kind of a rule of thumb is that if it's like a tiny little piece of like stubble basically after you've cut it, and it's not really doing anything for you, it's just kind of like inhibiting from getting that nice shape, just pluck it. And the reason we're brushing downwards is because then when you brush upwards, these hairs that are supposed to be there will be a lot cleaner. You see what I mean? So you want to do this kind of until like the middle of your eye, because this is a different story once we get up to here. And getting all these little stray hairs all in this area is really what's going to make your eyebrows clean and stand out and look as neat as possible. So I'm really happy with how this little front section looks right now. So I'm going to move on more towards, actually, oh, forgot one thing. So the inside of my brows, I don't do this thing how like you put a pencil there and like that's where your brows are supposed to be, because then you see that'd be a lot of brow hair that I would remove. So I just kind of play it kind of what just looks good to the eye to me. So always do less than you would think when plucking outwards. And then when you take pictures, sometimes I'll take a picture and I'll notice like, oh, I need to pluck another row off of this, but go in rows. So my eyebrow hairs, as you can see, there's like a row here, row here, row here, and so on. So I will take, if I think, let's say I think this can be cleaned up a little bit. So I'm only gonna take the hairs that are in that row, that one vertical, oh, I guess it's a column, not a row. Go by columns. And usually same thing here, if it's like a little like stubbly piece, you likely don't need it. This under section right here, basically I want a smooth and straight line all the way across my arch. I don't want like a boxy here and then for this to go up. I'll insert some pictures of basically what you don't want, at least what I don't want. And no offense if this is your eyebrows, this is my experience, this is how I like my eyebrows. I just like a smooth, a straight line here and continuous all the way down, just like a smooth arch. So that being said, I brush them up again. And this section looks pretty good to me. And here, usually, if there's a hair that I need to pluck, it'll only be like 1 or 2 hairs. And then when it comes to this section right here, this is one place that I tend to over pluck, so I need to be careful in this area because again, I want that smooth arch. I don't want this little divot here. So I'm just gonna take hair by hair what I think interferes with that smooth line. And one tip that I have for this, if you can't really see it, because mine I realize like I kind of have a shape already, if you can't really see it, go in with a white eyeliner or just pencil or whatever and outline what you want your arch shape to look like, and whatever is not in that outline, pluck it and then work with that, and that'll give you kind of like a base shape. One thing that I advise you stay away from is plucking from this section. because if anything, you want longer eyebrows. You don't want like them to cut off here. So just kind of avoid plucking these hairs right here, unless you clearly, like this one's stray, unless you can clearly tell that they're stray hairs. So I just made them a little thinner, as you can see in that section, and I just pulled out 3 hairs and it already made like the world of a difference. Sometimes I like to avoid taking off the top because I feel like that can take away from your arch. But if you do have some stray hairs, like if I take away those, it's not going to affect my arch. The last area that I recommend cleaning up that a lot of people sometimes neglect is this. I'm a very hairy person, so I don't know if everyone gets this, but I know I do. This area between my eyebrow and my hairline gets super hairy. Probably worse. Yeah, it's kind of worse on that side. But just pluck basically all these hairs between this area. Okay guys, so this is the final brow grooming, I guess. I don't have any makeup in them still. This is just my natural brows. As for filling in dark eyebrows, I'm sorry, I can't really help you guys with like filling in sparse eyebrows or people who don't have a lot of eyebrow hair. This is just, I'm a very hairy person. But if you do have thick eyebrows and you're struggling with how to fill them in without making them look too intense, I think this is a great product, this Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I don't recommend using any pomades. Powders can look a little bit too messy as well, and thicker pencils can also do that to you. So I recommend using a very thin brow pencil. As you can see, this one is very, very thin, and it creates natural looking eyebrows. So when filling in full brows, as you can see, I don't really need to fill in my brows that much, especially right after I get them done, but they are... Pat's face on. Hey.
What are you doing?
I'm filming a video right now.
I'm in America.
Really? Say it. Todd's back. He's back in the US. He was in the Dominican. Okay, we're back. So, where was I? Okay, so there's not many places that I need to fill in because, as you can see, I have naturally thick eyebrows. But there are a few places that, like, if I added a little bit here and there, I think they just look better. So one place that if you have thick eyebrows, I think you can fill in is this little tail end. I think, honestly, for anyone, this is nice. Just adding a little bit of extra length to your eyebrows. And then, for thick eyebrows, I'm telling you, ladies, this is the trick. Use the spoolie on this and brush, brush, brush until they look natural. Another place that I think filling in eyebrows makes the world of difference just with a little bit of product is this little section right here above the eyebrow. But be careful with this because you don't want to draw on a whole fake arch, or else it's ratchet. See what a difference that has made already? And downward. Less is more. That is what I've learned over the years. I used to put way too much product on, and I look back at pictures and I'm like, girl, what were you thinking? Like, that just looks ratchet, like, is the best word for it. And then I'm going to take my clear brow gel, in the same way that I brushed them while I was grooming my eyebrows, I'm going to brush them here. So up and a little bit out. And they should lay, honestly, there shouldn't be much above or below. If there is, just kind of smooth it out, like brush it down a little bit. Okay, that is how I fill in my eyebrows. That's the tips I have for filling in dark eyebrows. I hope you guys like them. I think my number one tip that I have, this is no offense to any people who get their eyebrows done at these places or to these places, but I have never in my life gotten my eyebrows done at a nail salon, and that is simply because I am terrified. I don't know how to say this without like being rude and like offensive. Basically, don't go to nail salons to get your eyebrows done. Like, simple as that. I don't know how else to say it. Go to someone who really knows what they're doing. And that being said, I also don't get my eyebrows waxed because I do use like clindamycin, retinol, like the Retin-A products. Anyways, any topical gel is just gonna make your skin sensitive, at least mine. So if I was to put hot wax on my skin right now and like rip that off, it would basically rip my skin off. I've had a horror story with that, and I had it was bad. And also, I just think threading So clearly I got my eyebrows threaded. I think threading is way neater because they can take each individual precise hair. So be selective with the people that you let touch your eyebrows. This is gonna be a really long video just about eyebrows. I didn't intend for it to be that long, but if you have any more questions about eyebrows or about anything, just comment them down below. If you liked this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!